Hello, I'm Vara,
And I'm Roxy.
and you're listening to VCR. How are you, Roxy?
I am tired. No, I'm
Tired? I'm tired, and I'm all kinds of off today because today is it's the time change, and it freaked me out like because I woke up running around doing errands, went to go grab breakfast and all this other stuff, and I get in the car and I look at the time on the car, and then I look at the time on my phone. I'm like, what the fuck is happening here? I was like, what? I was like, oh fuck, I should be recording right now. Because yeah, I was like, my time is fucking way off. Like, why
That's so
not?
funny because I looked at my clock and I was like, huh, 10:30. He hasn't called yet. I guess he's still sleeping.
Yeah, like definitely was. I was up, I was doing stuff, and I was like, oh, I need to call Roxy and tell her I'm running late because I'm an idiot. Like, oh my god, time change. What? And seriously, fuck time change. That's all I can say. But speaking of fucking time change, oh my god, that was a fucked up movie we watched last night.
Such a great, weird, crazy ass
Visually,
movie.
visually one of the most brilliant movies I
Oh,
have ever
yes.
seen.
Visually, it was really great. It was stunning.
Mentally, so cringe, so cringe. And
Oh my
then
gosh.
just in the sense of processing, I think my brain is still processing what it's about compared to what's
Yeah.
running around in my head. And I'm like, this is so brilliant. I'm so mad it didn't get more uh, awards at the Oscars, but hey, who am I, right? But today's fun and exciting topic is The Substance, brought to us by Miss Roxy, who told me to go watch it for like 3 or 4 days. I'm like, I don't want
I was like, go watch this movie.
to. And then I finally broke down, watched it late last night, and oh my God, talk about
Mhm.
absolutely brilliant. Just so mind-blowingly brilliant. The
The way
Substance,
it was shot, it was
oh,
just that was incredible.
yes,
Like each shot, I was just like, am I on drugs?
visually, it was just absolutely amazing. It's not, it has like really two big names, kind of three big names, but it's just absolutely great movie. Demi Moore is in it. She's our main character here. Miss Elizabeth Sparkle is who she plays. And then you have Dennis Quaid, who is just wickedly brilliant as this really slimy CEO of, a television company type of thing. He's just this studio exec, total scumball, but
Ugh, he's
loved him.
disgusting. He gives me the heebies every time he
Yes,
pops up.
he was so good in it, though. Absolutely so good. And then you have this absolutely charming actress who I at first was having issues figuring out who she was, but then all of a sudden it starts dawning on me who she is, and I had to actually look up her filmography because I was like, I know I've seen her do stuff. I'm just not
Same.
sure.
I was like, I've seen her. What is her name? I've seen her in some other stuff. I just couldn't pinpoint her.
Yes, Margaret Qualley, and I could be pronouncing the last name wrong. It's Qualley. She plays Sue, and she was just brilliant. Now, she has done quite a few other movies, such as, let me pop that up. She was in, of course, The Substance, Made, Kinds of Kindness. She was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and she was also in Poor Things and Drive Away Dolls.
That's where she looks familiar
Yeah,
from.
she was in Poor Things. And she was also in The Nice Guys and a few other little things. But she's done quite a bit of interesting work there. And she is quite good. I mean, she is amazing in this
She's really
movie.
good.
I honestly did not realize how, and how do I put this in a very nice way? I never realized how stunningly beautiful she was until this movie. Like I've seen her in other
Yeah.
stuff, but it was really this one that kind of it's all about vanity. So they do make her
Hmm.
look extra beautiful, but I didn't realize how lovely and stunning she was until I saw this movie. I was like, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
she's an incredibly beautiful woman."
And she's
Uh,
really pretty.
she really is, just really
Really.
is. And she was great. Demi Moore, just exquisite. As I don't care how old that woman is, she is exquisite.
Absolutely stunning.
It's only her and Monica Bellucci who I
I
can
got you like that.
being so beautiful and at that age. I mean, Selma Hayek too. She is very few of them can actually do that. You know what I mean? But she is just beautiful as well. But let's jump into a little bit of plot, which I ain't gonna be able to explain for anything because that plot was all kinds of. It's a simple plot, but what's happening in the movie is so complex and so weird. It's like, what the fuck is happening type of situation. Uh,
This whole movie threw me for a loop.
I mean, seriously, Roxy kept telling me this is a really weird movie. It's a really weird movie,
It's
and
weird.
I'm like, and I saw it. I was like, oh my God, this really is a fucking weird. Um, and it was
I gave you the
so.
warning.
Yeah, no, seriously. It was so bizarre that I'm still kind of a little bit perplexed, but it was just amazing. So here we go. Elizabeth Sparkle is this kind of fitness guru, you know?
Like an aerobics instructor.
Yeah, who's made it really big. She's famous. She's won awards for it.
Like Jane Fonda back in the day.
Jane Fonda, Richard Simmons,
Richard
even,
Simmons,
you
yeah.
know, that kind of mogul right there, that kind of an icon. And the issue is she is older. And so we start off with she has to go to the bathroom and apparently the women's restroom is out of order, so she goes into the men's room. And then
Mhm.
while she's using the men's room, Dennis Quaid, who plays Harvey, the sleazy corporate exec,
Ugh.
comes in angry, got to take a piss. He's like, I don't care. You get me someone fucking younger. She's old, she's useless. Like he's just going off, clearly talking about her. And she's in the bathroom listening. Of course, he doesn't know. But then again, he might know. It is kind of he plays, and I got kind of theological with watching this movie,
Yeah.
and it was he plays very much a devil-like character. I would compare his character to being the devil, and it's just the devil playing dumb. Like they know you're there.
Right.
This is how we're going to force your hand into this tragedy that you're about to go through because it really
Hmm.
was tragic because I'm not even sure that oh now I remember. So Miss Sparkle is driving, it's her birthday, she's
Hmm.
miserable because she just heard all this terrible news that they're trying to replace her and she gets in a car accident
Hmm.
and she goes to the doctor, oh you're totally fine. And then there's this guy there. Now, I will say this. This guy had the most stunning blue eyes I have
Did he?
ever seen. Did you see that?
I
The
almost felt
nurse?
like they were staring at me.
Yes, the his but here's the thing that I noticed too. And I'm not sure what the theme is on this one, but like the guys who are like kind of somewhat critical in the sense of small roles in her life
Hmm.
all had those piercing blue eyes. The
I did not
nurse,
catch that.
yeah, the nurse has the piercing blue eyes, and then when she's at the cafe and the old man's like, "Has it started to eat away at you yet?" Because
Mm-hmm.
he's part of the experiment too. He has those stunning blue eyes, and then she flashes back to the nurse. And then one of the young guys on the motorcycle that her younger version is seeing has the blue eyes. And the guy who
Oh.
cuts her head off later on, I'm going to give that away right now because she doesn't die and his face is all covered in blood. He has really penetrating blue eyes through all that. And I was like, what is with that? And I was like, huh. I know there's probably some bizarre scene going on there that I'm not catching, but it was just très bien. I loved it. I absolutely loved
Hmm.
it. So going back, she ends up at the doctor. This nurse with stunning blue eyes is over there, like feeling up her spine and stuff. And
He's like, oh, you're a great candidate.
you're such a good candidate. And then he gives her this bag, and in the bag there's this massive, I mean, I haven't seen a USB this massive since fucking the 90s. I was like, this
It was
huge.
huge.
massive USB that looks like you could beat someone with
It
it.
looks like the old fire sticks.
It was actually bigger than the Fire Stick.
Yeah.
And it just says the substance on it. And so she plays it, and it's basically explaining what the substance is without truly explaining it. And
Hmm.
the thing that is the kind of remembering thing here is that remember you are one. So
Right.
basically the substance, what it does is it creates two versions of you. There is you, and then this extremely painful, younger, more beautiful looking version of you pops out of your back, tearing open your skin. And it was painful to watch, but
I'm thinking about
literally,
doing that, and I'm like, I don't think I could. I would like her. I would
no,
have to murder her.
no, yeah, definitely. And that's even like,
I'm
well,
imagining a younger, hotter me. Oh, hell no, that bitch gotta go.
yeah, like no, no. I ain't paying that
She,
kind of money
she would
for.
be a menace.
Yes, definitely, definitely. So, she at first doesn't like the idea, throws the USB away, but then
Hmm.
here comes our sleazy corp exec having the most disgusting crawfish dinner I've ever
Shrimp.
seen in my
No, it's
life.
just shrimp, and it was
Oh,
disgusting.
and
I
it
was
was
like,
like,
ew.
it's like, just I gotta go. But the thing is, he dismisses her so nonchalantly and like
Yeah.
very much a go fuck yourself way. You're useless to me. That it sends her over the edge, and it causes her to call the substance. So
Hmm.
again, you got that little devil influence on,
Yeah.
and so she calls them. She gets it. She takes it. Roxy notices she doesn't wash her hands very well, and then
Yeah, she does not wash her hands very well. Because
and then I
she,
then I text Roxy. I was like, you know what? Her feet could be cleaner for this.
I said, well, she doesn't wash her hands very well. What do you expect?
We're totally focusing on the wrong thing. Not the fact that she's about to inject herself with this toxic goo, but
Well,
like,
she calls that place and she writes a number or no, an address or something on her hands.
mhm.
And then she takes a shower. And the next day,
It's
the
still
number's
on
still on her
there.
hands. So I was like, she
Yeah.
obviously did not take a very great shower or wash her hands very well since then.
Yeah. And
So
then, like, when she's laying on the floor doing her thing, I was like, wow, her feet could be cleaner.
now I will say that was a very convincing convulsions.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. That was great. So she takes this serum. What happens is, like Roxy says, she's convulsing, she falls to the ground, and then what happens is the younger version of her shoot, like her skin starts to split in the back, and the
Right on her
younger version,
spine, just
yeah,
rips open.
that's why the guy was like checking out her spine, and then the younger version comes out of the spine type of thing,
Hmm.
and then begins to sew her up, and then it's this
Oh,
weird
that part. Ugh.
that was very cringe, and then she has to give her a spinal tap. And I was like, oh my God, because Spinal Tap's no Novocaine, nothing. That's
Mm-mm.
pretty,
I don't want to ever know what that's like.
yeah, it's a terrible, terrible thing. So sews her up, and then they're following the instructions. Now, the instructions say 7 days for the original version. So she gets 1 week, and then they switch. Then the younger version gets 7 days. And then,
Hmm.
so they're supposed to live their life like this back and forth. 7 days on, 7 days off. That's how it's supposed to be.
Hmm.
But the young one starts to really like the attention and the
Oh
fame, you
yeah.
know, and starts like she's the new star of a show. She is gorgeous. She's getting all these pretty boys and everything. And
Hmm. She's
she's
living
just
the life. She's living it up.
she really is. She's loving it.
Living La Vida Loca.
She is. Her creepy neighbor keeps coming over.
Oh yeah, that guy is really creepy.
That's a date. And I was like, bro, get the fuck
Ew.
away from the door. Even I was like, you need to calm down, sir. Her hotness is not all up on that. His horror. I'm really handy. I have a big hammer. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'll see you. I live right here. And I was like, the fuck?
Gross. So gross.
He
I
was
think even when I watched that scene, I was like, ew.
like, how many fucking guys have had like a horrible pickup
Ugh.
line like that on you? But it was funny and it was cheesy
Yeah.
and it was the kind of small subtle humor you needed at that moment because the movie is
Mhm.
so fucking serious and dark.
It really
Uh,
is.
you kind of really need it. Um, and it's a sci-fi horror. If anyone's wondering what kind of, it's sci-fi horror. Definitely, that's how it's categorized. Makes total sense. But anyway, the younger one keeps like abusing the cycle.
Hmm.
And it's supposed to be 7 on, 7 off. She's going for longer days. As she goes for longer days, the original, so the Demi Moore, Elizabeth, becomes more haggard.
She starts
And
deteriorating. She
yeah,
starts
and she be
aging.
aging rapidly because they're not
Hmm.
respecting the boundaries.
It's like every day that she takes out of her life takes like a
Mm.
decade off of her, off of Demi, Elizabeth Sparkle's life.
Yeah, and it's like she becomes more and more grotesque, and then she
Hmm.
starts losing her mind, and then she starts like it's funny because again, the devil character here, Mr. Randy Quaid, had given her because they've fired her. He gives her this gift. He's like, my life loves it. It's French. You're gonna love it. Just like gives you something to do. And then one
It
day
was
while
a
she's all
damn.
while she's all haggard and she's locked herself away in her apartment, she opens the gift and it's a cookbook and it's a French cookbook. So she starts making it. It's actually very
Oh
disgusting
yeah.
stuff that she's making. But the thing is, it becomes gluttony. Now, here's where the theologian in me comes out. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, you're a fucking theologian? Did you not listen to the stuff that comes out your mouth? I'm like, yes. Yes, I kind of am. So, but the
He
truth
is
is,
very aware.
I'm very aware that, what I am. But the thing is, uh, as the theologian that kind of comes out of me, it's like this movie is all about the seven deadly sins. I'm watching it, and all of them are there.
And I could totally see
Envy,
that.
desire, gluttony, all of them, lust, all of it is there. And you see it throughout the movie. Now, I was doing a little reading on the creation. So the director is also the person who wrote it. It took her 2 years to write the play. I mean, the screen play. And it was, Trey, she did a magnificent job. Now, maybe her intention was not to be theological and have this seven deadly sins kind of in there, but they are definitely there.
They're
Was
definitely
it
there, yeah. And
intended?
I didn't even notice it until you pointed it out. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
I was like, you got this devil who's as far as I'm concerned, Harvey, masterfully played by I mean Randy, I'm so sorry,
You think
Dennis
he's
Quaid.
supposed to be Harvey Weinstein?
He could have been a Harvey Weinstein I mean, maybe that's why he is called a Harvey. But like the thing is, as she wrote it, it said that she wrote it because of the societal pressures to stay beautiful and young and
Hmm.
current, and like you hit a certain age and they're done with you. And
Yeah.
that's very true in Hollywood.
30, apparently.
Yeah. Well, here's the weird
18 to
thing.
30.
The
Did you see that? 18 to 30. I said,
eight-
oh,
18 to 30 in Hollywood for mainstream type of stuff. No joke, this blew my mind. Did you know in the adult industry it's younger than that?
that does not
It's
surprise me.
yeah,
It's disgusting.
it's in your 25, it's up to 25, and then after 25, oh, well, you can do MILF. You can't do young hot. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all? But anyway, who am I?
Then we get into the golden oldies.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell is happening here? But it's very disturbing, and I think that's part of what she's pointing out, how
Hmm.
disturbing vanity in society is when it
Yeah.
comes to beauty, and you have to look a certain way, and you have to be a
Beauty
certain way.
standards.
And
Yeah.
it's like, you have to suffer these beauty standards, and I feel for people who have to go because I just wake up looking great every fucking day, so it's not an issue for
He's like,
me.
I don't know. I wake
But
up and
but
I'm just gorgeous. So
the others, my God, is this
yeah,
the
unfortunately
decline
for
curve?
me, no, I definitely do not just wake up gorgeous. There's definitely work put in.
I mean, I roll out of bed and I'm like,
Ooh.
puff the beard, massage the head. I'm good to go.
Put a little baby oil on. I'm good to go.
Not even shit. Oh, natural. So, but
Oh
the thing is, it
gosh.
gets so the thing is, it gets darker. The vanity of
Hmm.
it gets darker because she's becoming more and more popular, and she's abusing the other. And then they keep calling the place, the substance, whatever it is. Hey, this one's abusing, this one's abusing. They're like, respect the fucking balance, and that's all they tell them.
Yeah, like
Respect the balance, and things will be okay. But they keep telling them what's been done can never be undone, though.
right.
You know, what you do to one, you do to the other. Um, I was like, weird. So of course the young one's abusing it like crazy, which is weird because it's like, why didn't the older one, the Demi Moore character, why didn't she abuse it?
Right. Stay a little longer.
Yeah, like she was very respect, but I think that's kind of the thing where it's like pointing out the folly of youth. You
Hmm.
think you can just get away with anything without consequence,
Yeah, without the
and then
consequences.
boom, it all of a sudden.
And all of a sudden they slap you in the face.
Yeah, so then the young one gets this opportunity to host the New Year's Eve show. And so she's all excited, but she has to go back under because she's abused the privilege. So she doesn't know what the fuck to do. And so now she's starting to fall apart because she's gone past her, way past her
And
time,
she can't get any more of the fluid to
No.
to regenerate herself or to
Uh,
sustain herself.
The fluid here, like that substains or the stabilizer, is
Yeah.
spinal fluid. So she has to give, they have to give each other the spinal tap and eject themselves with it in order to remain stable.
Yeah. So the 7 days is because it gives the real person, the original person, time to regenerate that
Hmm.
fluid.
Yeah, it does. But in this case, she's abused it way too
Yeah,
fucking
she's
much. And
tapped it dry.
yeah, and then the original Miss Sparkle comes out and
And she is
he
hideous.
is hideous, absolutely hideous. And then what
I
happens?
would never call a woman hideous, but she was hideous.
So she wants to terminate because she has the option to terminate and then just go
Hmm.
back to living her life. Well, that goes horribly wrong. I'm not going to spoil that, but that goes horribly wrong. And then the younger one manages to wake up.
Well, she wakes her up because remember
Yes.
she was like, I think in them after she had terminated her, she started looking around at that billboard and the flowers, and she's like, "Oh my God, this is what we wanted."
Hmm.
And she's like, "No, I need you." And she starts pumping, giving her CPR, and that's what woke her up.
Yeah. Well, the other thing she says is something very important, I think. She's like, I hate you because I hate myself, because I don't
Hmm.
love myself. And I think that's part of a big theme here is being able to love yourself
Hmm.
no matter what. And she didn't, she was so vain and trapped in her vanity that she hated her. She only saw her imperfections, never saw who she was. And I think that's a big theme here too. But then, the young one has done something horrible and is trying to get to this New Year's thing. So she's desperate. So she injects herself with the serum again, which it says only once, but she does it again,
Yes.
which starts to mutate her into this really grotesque monster. And then,
I was not expecting that monster.
yeah, I was not either.
I was like, "Whoa, what
And then
happened?"
it just got worse because as grotesque as she was and as deformed as she was with all these body parts coming out everywhere, then she goes out and then she cuts off the poster's face and glues it onto her face to show up at the thing. And I was like, what is going? But that's how vain she was, that she was, like just willing to go that crazy and that insane to make herself this beautiful person that she isn't anymore because she's
Yeah,
twisted and she's ugly. I think it's kind of a metaphor for the soul too. Like you have
yeah.
this mask that you're wearing, but really you're twisted and ugly, and because of the way you are, not just with yourself, but with others and this and that.
Hmm.
And it was just kind of heartbreaking to see that, but it was super scary too because it was like, wow, this is grotesque. And then
That
that
face in the
ending.
back.
Oh my God, like the her face was on the back and I was like,
Oh my
and
God.
in the front and she had all these arms and then like literally a boob falls out of her eye. And
That was, I was like, what the hell?
I'm like, where the fuck is this going? But it was
I
a bit of shock
was like, was
factor.
that supposed to be a tear?
No, it was well, yeah, she was crying and then the boob fell out of her eye orb and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? But and then she starts spraying blood everywhere, and
Or she stuck the earring like in the side of her head.
yeah, I thought she was actually going to shove it in the hole that's supposed to be her ear, but she shoves it in her head
I
because
was like, what? And then the way what I thought was funny, and I thought about you, is because she goes, she like does her long
yeah.
hair twirl, like to get it out of her
Oh,
face, like,
oh my God, it was such a trip.
oh my gosh.
But that ending, I think, was kind of powerful. I'm not going to ruin the ending. I'm not because
For
it's
once.
something that I want you to watch,
Yes,
and
please.
I highly recommend it. But if you're someone who's skittish and you don't like horror movies, you need to watch this with somebody or watch it in the daytime. If you can hang with it on your own, like I did last night, I was literally texting Roxy throughout the movie. I was like, "The fuck is happening?" Like it was such a trippy movie, but there's I think a very powerful message in it. And like I
Mhm.
said, whether it was intended to have some religious aspect to it or not, I don't know. But there's a
But it's
religious
definitely there. It's
aspect to it. Yeah. It's that sin of pride, that sin of envy,
mhm.
that sin of lust, and it's like
Like
wow,
even
this
as
is
somebody who's not a religious person, I can see it. Like,
yeah, and you got that devil guy there who's just tempting you and egging you on, like, oh, this is just coincidence. But no, is it really coincidence? Are you being led to feel this way when all you had to do is just love yourself, damn it?
right.
But sometimes that's the hardest thing to do is to love yourself. So,
Hmm.
if the VCR show is going to teach you anything, it's like go love yourself. Just love
Yes.
yourself. You
Love
are
yourself
amazing sometimes, but you are amazing.
most of the time. But
You know.
you're great.
9 times out of 10, you're pretty spectacular. You can't always bat 1,000. That's all I'm saying. You can't always bat 1,000.
We have our days,
Yes, we
but for the
do.
most part, you're amazing.
Yeah, mostly. Uh, so uh,
Oh, just
it is a definitely for me. It is a must watch.
a
I'm gonna
must
give it
watch.
a must watched.
Moose
A
watch.
must watched. Our German on the VCR show. It is definitely a must watch. It is
Definitely.
an A plus for me. Roxy, what would you give this bad
I
boy?
give it an A plus plus. Like I watched it twice, so I love. I
I mean,
very much enjoyed that movie.
it
It
was
was
a great
very
movie.
weird,
Hmm.
but I enjoyed it.
And it's won quite a few awards. Sadly, at the Oscars, it only won for best makeup and visual, which it
Yeah, it
rightfully
really was
so,
visually. Like, it was
like
great.
hands down, absolutely rightfully so. But
What did you say? You were like that was like an LSD trip.
no, it was seriously this watching this movie is like an LSD trip with shrooms. And then they had COVID and having a fever dream at the same time. I mean, that's really what this movie is. But it's visually a nightmare, but the most stunning nightmare you'll ever see. So you need to check it
Yeah,
out. I'm
highly recommend.
yes, and it's won quite a few awards. It did only win that one at the Oscars. I really feel in my heart of heart, Dennis Quaid was robbed. He really should have got a best support. He was so
He
magnificent.
was
I mean,
so convincing as a creep.
as a creep, as a sleaze,
Yeah,
as this like almost devilish kind of like that devilish smile he would give. He
his
was
mouth just really grossed me out the entire movie. His mouth grossed me out. Oh,
he was so good.
gross.
Oh God, he was so good. I feel he was robbed though. He really and those suits that he wore were so loud and obnoxious. I was like,
Oh my God.
but if you notice, they were snakeskin. They were snake patterns.
I did
So
not catch
yeah,
that.
they were snake patterns. So again, very devilish. And then you also had reminders of kind of like almost like and I'm gonna go theological here. You almost had reminders of selling your soul here. Because
Hmm.
I don't know if you remember when she's standing naked in front of the window and she sees her billboard there,
Hmm.
puts on this silk black
This,
robe.
yeah, with that beautiful black with the golden snake on the back.
It was a dragon.
Was
It was
it?
a serpent dragon, which is also like one of
I
the
just thought that robe was gorgeous and I immediately wanted it.
yes,
I need
but
it.
it's also one of the emblems for, the dark one there. But here's the other thing theologically. Later on, the older one does the same thing. So it's almost like they're selling their soul to this vanity
Mm.
type of situation. I was like, Wow. And this is, again, theologian in me doing some
Mhm.
imagery here. Roxy can disagree with me. She tends to, but she may
Yeah,
be.
but actually this time I agree. I could see it.
I think it was an absolutely fabulous movie. You got to check it out. So, The
Hmm.
Substance, check it out. We had to rent it from, well, I had to rent it from Prime. I don't know. Did you have to rent it or buy it or
Mm-mm.
no?
No,
I had to rent it. It wouldn't let me watch it.
no, it
Wow.
was already on my thing. So
How crap. And I have Prime. Why the hell am I renting this stuff? Anyway, I'm gonna have to call Amazon about that. So until next time, maybe you liked something about it, maybe you didn't. Maybe you want to give us another movie suggestion. You can do that at the
yeah.
VCR show at gmail.com. Our social media is the VCR show, YouTube, and our website, the VCR show. And if you want to stay eternally young and beautiful with Roxy, you may do so at her social medias, which are.
Or if you want to pass me some Stay Young beauty tips, that
There
would be
you
amazing.
go.
And you can do that at my on Facebook at Roxy Perez Curvy Model, on Instagram at PopRocks428, and on TikTok at the Pop Rocks. And Pop Rocks is spelled POPROXX.
And until next time, I'm Vara.
And I'm Roxy.
And you've been listening to VCR.
Bye.
Bye bye. Stay young and beautiful.
I'll try.
And remember, pretty girls should always smile.
Smile.
You have been listening to VCR, creative content by Richard Christopher Vara and Roxy Perez. Logo by Richard Christopher Vara with assistance from Annie Ramirez. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can reach us at thevcrshow@gmail.com or our social medias at Instagram and Twitter at the VCR Show. And you can also check out our content at thevcrshow.com. The show song is Attic by Nefex, instrumental, and you can find them on YouTube Music Library.